Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Erik Roland. I'm a product manager and consultant here at the Experts, and as such responsible for app controls, UPV web services, browser-based viewing, and associated technologies. In today's third part of the app control series, we will look at an IWP app control sample. As always, this session will be recorded, and we will provide you with a link to the download after the session. At any time during the webinar, feel free to use the chat panel and state your questions, and I will try to answer as many as possible. If not during this webinar, I will answer them via email afterwards. Now, let's have a look at today's agenda. We will look at IWP and an example app control created for it. We will also look at a Power BI integration using the IWP data. Finally, we will look at some information needed to convert your existing web app into an app control. So let's get started with IWP, that are installation work packages and part of AWP. In this webinar, we will not look at AWP, only at IWP, but all that said here, so all the app controls could also be extended for the full AWP workflow. IWP has become quite crucial for project management, especially on large-scale projects, and it comes with some benefits. First, we have an enhanced efficiency. Since our work can be broken down into more detailed work packages or smaller work packages, we are able to create a better sequencing of our work. This means we can create cost savings and create a timely have a timely project completion due to the better sequencing. And this also enables us to have a better coordination among teams. We also have a resource optimization. Since IWP emphasizes on the right allocation of resources, this includes labor, equipment, and materials, and therefore it minimizes the idle time and resource shortages, since we know ahead of time what is needed at what point. And this, of course, reduces risk of delays. We have quality assurance, since each work package includes specific quality criteria and inspection procedures. This minimizes the risk of errors, rework, or non-compliance with project specifications. All of these were mostly for the construction phase, but we also have an as-built documentation that is generated during the process. With this as-built configuration, we have a lot of documents that record when something was installed, where it was installed, and what was installed. And this is very valuable for future maintenance, repairs, and modifications to the infrastructure. It also helps in asset management and facilitates maintenance and compliance with regulatory requirements. For the IWP app control, this was created in cooperation with AWP Insight and took less than 5 days to create. The whole system was in the end hosted on Azure, and it comes with some features that we will see in the demo in a bit. We are able to highlight IWPs in UPV. We can create reports for IWPs that contain data from the model. We are able to link the IWP and model components together. We also have a contact and schedule management where we can record the planned and actual dates for the schedule. And we have an image capturing out of UPV. And also some small other features, but we will see all of that in a second. So it's time for a demonstration. As you can see here, this is UPVND, our next version of UPV that has app controls. You can see in here I've prepared 2 samples, one IWP sample, one Power BI sample that I will show during this webinar. So let's get started with the IWP sample. Let me just open it. And since this is an app control that requires a bit more space, let me drag it down here. In here, we have a table of all the IWPs that are currently in the system and registered for this project. In here, I have an IWP name, a description for it, a status, a discipline, and if available, the planned start and finish date, as well if available, the actual start and finish date. Here comes the first integration. So we are able, if you want to now not only have this information available, we can also now check where in the model is this IWP. So we can also are able to select multiple. So let me just get all the mechanical, electrical, and concrete foundations for, it doesn't say here, but for the construction work area A. And I can inspect it. I can inspect when they should happen and when they should finish. But this is only the first integrate, or the first part. We are also able to add and remove them, but I will just show you how we can modify them because that's basically the same step. So let's just go to the concrete foundations. You can see we have now here a nice template for things where we can enter things like EWP, CWP, CBA, and so on, but also stuff like the status. So we can keep track of our IWPs. We have a contact management. So for example, we have here Bobby Rail, the construction manager, together with a phone and email. And yeah, we have our schedule. So we can see when it's started to plan, when it's planned to finish, how many hours it would take, what is the crew size, and how many days it should take. We can see the date when it started. And if we now would now have the finish, or if it would be finished, we can enter this date and then also compare the planned versus the actual stuff and create lessons learned out of it. What went wrong by, for example, did it maybe take longer? We have our scope. In this case, there is no scope, but all of these we can create in here or note down. We have an upload panel. So you can see here, we have a cover page, 3D model shots, pictures, engineering documents, quality documents, and a sitemap. And we can upload all of these files either directly from my disk, or we can also take a screenshot from the model. So for this, let me go down a little bit to components. And let me just quickly select the components. And now in here, I'm able to capture a 3D model shot. And this, you can see these buttons are now grayed out. It's currently processing the screenshot and uploading it to a server. And then in a few seconds, there should be a pop-up here stating that the model was uploaded successfully. In the meantime, let me scroll down further. You can see we have all the components. So we have our structure slabs in here, together with a progress. So we can also keep track of individual items progresses in here. And in here, we also have actual hours and delay tracking. It looks like the system currently has some issues and it's not able to actually upload the picture. So it's just a sample. So it might just be some small issues, but we can just continue. So I can go back. No, I don't want to save changes. And now we can go to the reporting feature of it. So I can now just click on download. And this will generate a Power BI report. It takes a few seconds again. And it provides me with a template. In this case, it was a cooperation between the experts and the AWP Insight. And you can see the first screen. We're now able to download it as a PDF. And this will happen on my other screen. So just give me a second. And here you can see the final report that was generated. And you can see here, we have one picture that was taken out of UPV. We have our daily log together with cost codes. Again, the scope and so on is stored in here. We have a sitemap, so we can, again, have pictures from UPV. Safety access permits, some more 3D model shots. So these were the ones that were recorded previously. We have tools and equipment. We also have a bill of materials that was automatically generated based on the items, the linked items in the model. Completion sign-off list, a document log. In this case, there are no documents added, and a progress tracker. But all of that was generated inside AppControls and is available for use. But this is only the first part of the integration. We also have this Power BI sample that works on the same data. So this one, you can see the model goes back to the normal colors. And I've now here a skyline view that displays the different IWP packages according to their start date. So you can see on which date they should have started, together with colors showing if they're complete, on hold, backlog, or preliminary, and so on. But I can now also interact with the model with it. So I can now just click on this one, and you can see it getting highlighted in the model. So we are communicating here between Power BI dashboard and UPV and performing actions on it. And the same we can do for other ones. So I can just select this one, and you can see the same happens here. I'm also able to filter stuff. So maybe I only want stuff that is preliminary. Yeah, and now I only see this data. So it's a real powerful Power BI integration. And it's only a sample what's possible. There's way more stuff can be done. So the whole AWP, in this case it's only IWP, but the whole AWP could also be created in here. Good. Let me go back to the presentation. And just have one quick slide at the end on how to create an app control. We will go into detail in the next webinar about this, but just some starting points. If you have an application that you basically own or that you have created yourself or that you are wanting to create, it's pretty easy to integrate UPV into the application yourself. We provide a universal API that you can add to your project. And at that point, you just need to set up actions that are getting performed when you click, for example, a button or if you select an element. You can always contact us if you want to have more detail about such a thing, or if you plan an integration, feel free to contact us and we can help you with it and look over it. But there's also the part about third-party applications. So this could be applications that are provided to you as a software as a service, for example. In this case, you don't have access to your source code. If you're able to basically add integrations on this site yourself, then it's also easy to integrate such a thing. But in often cases, this is not possible. And in these cases, if at least an API is available, we can use a wrapper application, a wrapper app control, to act as a mediator between these two applications. And of course, if the third party is interested, they can also, for example, contact us and we will help them set up the integration themselves.